The Buhari should be deployed to do what Amateku is doing.
Exactly.
It should not be politicized.
Yes.
All right, moving on now. Due to pay disparities in Nigeria, the gap between the rich and the poor is widening. Hence, a deliberate policy is required to ensure equitable distribution of wealth in the country. In one of such steps, the Revenue, Mobilisation, Allocation and Fiscal Commission said it is embarking on review of the pay of public officials because it is unacceptable for any public official to earn more than the President of Nigeria. Chairman of the Commission, Mohammed Shehu, mentioned some government institutions like the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and others as some of the agencies whose heads are earning higher severance package than President Muhammadu Buhari. This is quite interesting.
It's ridiculous, really, that you see some agents of government like the Debt Management Office, like NMPC, and the rest of them, they earn what our people have come to describe as extortionate wages.
It's not like the normal civil service
no.
salary stream.
Everyone knows that the teachers don't earn so much, despite how important they are to the society. Even our leaders were trained by teachers, but we continue to teach teachers with levity. In some places, teachers are among the highest paid. In our country, doctors, as important as they are not among the highest paid. Teachers are not among the highest paid. But some bureaucrats earn fat salaries that they don't deserve. You can't fix the refineries. They're not refining anything. But they are among the highest paid in our country. Highest paid.
Packages.
Collecting so much money for work not done. So if they can even be earning more than our president, is it not ridiculous? Is it not ridiculous? How did we even allow that to happen? And even the severance package too, higher than the severance package that the president is programmed to get, if I can use that word. So it makes no sense. They've got to sit down and take a second look at these things. Why in this, all of them are public servants. Why should some earn so much? That's why you see some people do their best. I want to work at Corporate Affairs Commission. I want to work at the Debt Management Office. I want to work at NMPCO. Because they know that the condition of service and the even issue of workers' welfare is not the same thing as you get in other areas. Their wages, their take-home is not the same thing. Why should that happen? What is the job of the FAC, the Revenue, Mobilisation and Fiscal Commission, if they cannot sit down and structure this thing properly in a manner that ensures that some are not seen as superior? Because this is apartheid in the real sense. If those guys can be earning the kind of fast salaries that they are earning, even earning more than the president, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense.
So again, there's this agency with juicy this thing. We know before now that if you work in CBN, NNPC, Nigerian Port Authority, there's like a class to this thing. It's not like the normal.
They call themselves income generating agencies. And you ask them, the income they are generating, is it for themselves? Is it on Nigerian? It's generating for us. And they're supposed to be paid by Nigerians. It's quite unfortunate. This has been happening for long. You're talking of NPA. What of NCC? Have you ever thought, have you looked at it from the point that most of the children of our leaders find themselves in these agencies?
Yes.
Once they graduate, the first place they said to come back from abroad, they go and work at NCC, CBN, NNPC, MPA, DMO, most of these FIRS. Those are the choice ministries or whatever.
And they will not make even appointment. They will make it public.
When the employment, the vacancies, they don't know. You can never see. You know that it's within government gazettes that all those vacancies must be published for Nigerians to apply. Newspapers. You go and check when last any of these agencies published that.
Someone even said even when they publish.
When they publish, it's just for the fulfill righteousness. They
made up their minds.
Now you will surprise that their wives, their children, members of National Assembly, those ministers, and
with their children,
they put that's where they are. That's why you find NCC, NCC,
as is retiring
so you apart from their salaries, they are the ones that go on foreign whatever every time, respite all these things, and collect extra codes.
Trips.
They go on foreign trips. If they're on holiday, they just go to the US and spend.
They will waste all
the money. That is what I'm saying. It is a fact. We have most of them as our friends. We know what is happening. So for the agency RMAFC to come now and say that, well, and good, let's see how it's going to be. But the fact remains that it is unrealistic, is uncalled for, as Jide rightly said. If you see how much NNPC, despite the fact that it has been unbonded, whichever name they call themselves, are still paying. People working at Kaduna Refinery that have not produced 1 single liter of petrol in the last 2-3 years, they are collecting serious. If you see how much is being budgeted for, I had the group GMD of NNPC saying the other, they were asking him, why is there still? He said, are you saying we should shut down the place? If they shut it down, something happened, what happened? But these are people that for a single drop of petroleum have not been produced. The one in Kaduna, the one in Warri, the one in Port Harcourt, and they are withdrawing salary,
foreign
trips.
Come to think of it, they also fix their own salary. When was the last time that NNPC remitted? If just a few months ago, that for the first time, they said they remitted, was it 600 million or whatever? No, nobody's accountable. So, what should be done should be done. Making certain is just like when the president appoints ministers. You know, ministries you have the grade A, the grade B, the grade C kind of ministry. That is why you will never see the son or daughter of those rich people going to all this ministry. Ask them to go into all this ministry, other ministry. Definitely, they won't.
They know the agencies
where they're going to make money. So if they're going to come to play with this and be able to put this right, all well and good. Whether they can get it achieved, yes, they have the enabling law backing them to do that. But would they have the political will to do it? That is another question entirely.
All right, I have Mukhtar. Mukhtar is calling us from Kano. Thank you for joining us, Mukhtar.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Let me make my contribution with regards to what you are discussing now. You see, the issue of revenue mobilization, the issue of inequality in salaries and wages has been there for more than 30 years. And what is the revenue mobilization doing about it? There's inequality in salaries and wages. There's inequality in justice. There's inequality in health. There's even inequality in education. Today in Nigeria, I am telling you, the same graduate, the same faculty, but because of one reason or another, somebody may find himself in a teaching profession, and the other may find himself in NNPC or Central Bank. And you will see how much they earn. And it's so sad that we're operating a system that we cannot be able to accommodate, and that we're creating a gap that will encourage corruption, a gap that will encourage hatred for so many people. So I am advising the revenue mobilization, they are fully aware of these inequalities, not only in other sectors, also in the salaries and wages. Go to universities, go to private universities. See our leaders are taking their children to overseas. See us with ASU and the federal government. See us in the health sector. If you don't have money, you will die. And the president will fly to Europe, to America, to England for his health. And the poor.
Thank you for your contribution, Mukhtar. Today, when you want to look at it, because this thing is saying that when you look at even the president's package, I've had to see their basic salary and everything. is not high at all. No. It's not attractive, and that's why people will get there, and if that is not enough for them to spend, people will do some other things to make money. But when you look at the basic package that is approved by the Revenue Allocation Mobilization, this RMAFC, you understand that the package of the Vice President and the President is not so attractive.
No, when people are making so much noise the other day about a news story about how much will go to these elected public officers and their aides when leaving office, you know. They didn't bear in mind the fact that even states were included.
States,
they thought,
we just sensationalized, so you put it together.
States, all the states,
all the states, everything.
By the time you now look at it,
the president, this is what you read the story.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money, and now I'm sure that people, after seeing the severance package of the president, when it was announced, president, the VP, and when it was announced, I'm sure that the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Commission must have been inundated by calls and with people complaining about what kind of system made it possible for someone working in NPC, you know, to earn a surveillance package that is higher than that of his president. What is the work that they do? They've not been able to fix the refineries. We are heavily reliant on imported fuel. So I just hope that in the final analysis that they can take a costly look at this whole thing and streamline it. They've got to streamline it across the entire public service. We can't have apartheid in our own country.
And accountability is far from. And you know, one of the bane of this revenue mobilization, these people that fix salary.
Yes.
Now, they don't fix allowances.
Yes.
They just fix the basic packages. Now, when you now check all the allowances of National Assembly members and some other agencies, you now discover that it is these allowances that's it's so humongous.
It's called
the basic salary might be nothing to write home about, but when you talk about all this, how do we make sure all this, you know, is streamlined so that the cost to reduce the cost of governance?
It's called peck of office. Peck of office.
Yes.
That's the word.
Like the president traveling, the president traveling to England now for medical distance is part of.
It is.
It is embedded there.
It is.
A lot of people don't know
this. But you have to understand that.
This is entitlement.
In as much as we are talking about those in these agencies, don't also forget that most often than not, despite what this agency have told us, we still don't know how much members of the National Assembly are spending. They will tell you, you know that for years. That's what the allowances.
Since 1999,
you know that. No, they'll tell you, oh, we are earning less than 1 million.
No, we know their basic salary.
Their basic is what they're telling you. The allowances, that's what I'm saying. The allowances, we don't know. And most often than not, what happens is the fact that, you know, Nigerians are a very clever set of people. There have been, even within the ministries, the issue that is still being battled is the issue of ghost workers. If you know how much most of these directors, PAMSECs, and the rest are
all the technology that
all the technology that have been deployed, there are instances where you see some ministries are paying salaries to close to over 1,000, 2,000 people that are not working within those agencies. Where is that money going to? It's going to somebody's pocket. And that is an issue. But the fact still remains is that at the end of it all, what we are looking at the basics, what is the take-home of the president? What's the take-home of a governor? What's the take-home? Now, you can, for some top executives like governors, some receive salaries for life. Some receive other perks of office for life. There are some people that finished from being governors, they went to the Senate. They are still receiving their whatever salaries or gratuity or whatever you call it, as gratuity as governors.
And they will get severance package.
They get severance package, and they are the National Assembly. They are still receiving.
That's like double gratuity.
That is it, double gratuity. That is areas I think that they should be looking at.
System.
Yes, this same system. This same system. And nobody's talking about it. There are some governors I know of that in some states that every 2 years they give them to Prados.
Change their
they change their vehicle, change their this and
medical
rest of them,
facility abroad.
They are still senators. They will still receive from the one that is being given at the National Assembly. That is why some people have been saying that this thing should be more of a just issue. The cost of governance, part of our problem is also cost of governance. It's too high. The presidential system of government we are running is not the... Look at the US just had a midterm election. And that I think what we should be doing every 2 years. We call these people to question and say, come again, let us face. Look at what's happening in the US. You've seen what has been happening between the Democrats and the Republicans. Most of the people that believed and thought that they've got it all, it was supposed to be a red wave or whatever they called it. But you could be shocked that some of those that have been there before and thought that, oh, it's our birthright, they didn't get it. Some senators and some people in our political believe that it's their birthright. Once I'm a governor, I must take up a senatorial seat.
Okay, I have Adedeji from Osogbo in Osun State.